The anime world is full of tsundere characters. The word comes from the Japanese word tsun, which refers to someone who acts cold, blunt, or curt, whatever curt means. And Dere, which refers to feeling love-struck or lovey-dovey. Pretty cute, or as an infamous PrideSynn clip would say, Yo. Now combine the two and you get tsundere. You can ask, why do people love tsundere characters so much, but you can't refute the fact that in anime and just overall fiction, this trope is adored. Regardless of which end of the spectrum you side with, the impact of a tsundere in a story is undeniable. Rin is one of Fate's most popular characters. Nino is argued to be best quint. Rukia has placed top 3 in literally every single Bleach character popularity poll. And Jotaro is just the most popular JoJo. So yeah, to deny the popularity of a tsundere is simply denial. Firstly, a common misconception that needs to be cleared up now is that not all tsundere are violent and angry jerks. There are tsunderes done right, and then there are the ones done wrong. For example, a Rin or a Nino, characters who are tough and hard on those around them, reaching beyond just the MC or their love interest. And yet, even once their softer or sweeter side shows, their toughness doesn't just up and leave all of a sudden. It's a character trait, not a phase. Then on the flip side, you have characters like Louise who are just, Jeez Louise. Way too extreme and are borderline insufferable. Sorry, all 3 Louise fans. When a tsundere is done right, you either love them or you tolerate them. When they're done wrong, they're usually pretty hated. I haven't seen much in between. A tsundere is either one of your favorite characters or they're one of your more disliked ones, but the question still remains, why do people enjoy them so much? It'd be easy to pass the answer off as saying that the feeling of seeing a tough character finally become affectionate or bashful is rewarding enough, but that feels like a bailout despite how valid of an answer that actually is. Maybe it's the relatability of a character who has trouble expressing themselves. Or maybe it really is just the psychological attraction to seeing cold or harsh characters become more emotional. Is the love for this archetype a case of the journey is more exciting than the finish line? Or is this a case of I'm a masochist so I like these characters? I'm trolling, kinda. Look, just because someone loves a tsundere doesn't mean that they're a masochist or something. Some may be, some may, but the two are not exclusively one and the same. There's a point where too much soon becomes a problem. Once someone starts turning rejection into harassment or assault, then yeah, if you like that, maybe you're a masochist. Hey, power to you. If the foundation of a character and their first impression is of them being cold, distant, or harsh, then of course they'll become more attractive as they warm up. It's because it feels like there's a sense of victory there, like something was gained by turning the cold character warm. As people, we enjoy things more when it took some work to get it, but that is exactly why it's easy to mess up a tsundere. If the baseline is that a character is a jerk, then it's not rewarding if by the end of their character arc, they're still nothing more than a jerk. Without proper development, this might be one of the easiest character tropes to fumble. Thus, we've created a spectrum of love or hate for tsunderes. So imagine how nice it feels to warm yourself by a fire on a cold night while out camping, or to enjoy a nice cold bev after a hot day. The appeal and comfort of that hot and cold feeling is fundamentally the same thing that people can tend to attach to characters. And that, ladies and gentlemen, in the shortest video I could muster, is why people love tsunderes so much. Now, does love for tsunderes translate over to real life? Depends on who you ask, but as someone myself who loves tsunderes in fiction but not in real life, I don't think it does. But the tsundere is loved for their ability to captivate a viewer. Going from cold to warm is very well received when compared to a character that's warm from the start and stays warm, or a character that's cold from the start and stays cold. It's the psychological study on gain versus loss. And Lord forbid we talk about the reverse, warm characters that go cold, a topic I will not go into. The anime world is full of Dandere characters. The word comes from Danmare, which means silence, or Danmaru, which is a verb meaning to stay quiet. Listen, Japanese speakers, relax. And Dere, which means me 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 me. Hit a fusion dance and you've created the Dandere. And now, out the muscle, we've got to recognize the difference between a kudere and a Dandere. Both are quiet archetypes, but the K is quiet out of choice while the D, pause, is quiet because they're shy. Perhaps I'll do a video on the K, maybe, stay tuned. But let's figure out why the Dandere is so loved. Honestly, it's not hard to figure out. There's a sense of protectiveness that's inspired in people when it comes to these characters. There's just something really adorable about these shy types. But is the love for this trope simply just that, or is there more to it? There's no denying that cute and sweet will garner popularity. Miku is loved by little goo goo gaga babies that are too smooth-brained to even watch the show properly. Miku's adorable, and her sweet and timid personality has gotten her many fans. Bocchi came out of nowhere and dominated the fall 2022 season, even creating the "she's just like me for real" meme. Hinata has become the favorite girl of Naruto for many because of how supportive and gentle she is. These characters are very easy to fall for, and they normally lack bad qualities. So once you get trapped by one, you're trapped for a pretty long time. A Dandere is usually too timid to speak their mind out loud, the opposite of a tsundere. And a lot of the time, if you have a Dandere in a story, there's gonna be a character of the exact opposite type there to balance them out. And when it's done properly, it's a goddamn work of art. Beautiful enough to bring a tear to a jit's eye. But when it comes to the shy, timid, and afraid to speak characters, frankly, there are a lot of people in real life that feel like they can relate to that. They create a protection complex in viewers that's unrivaled by any other archetype. When the Dandere is hurt, the viewers take up arms. When the Dandere is nervous, the viewers want to pinch their chubby little cheeks and give them a hug. When the Dandere is happy or proud of themselves, the viewers also happy and proud of them. There's no denying their effect on people who stumble across them. But now that we figured out why people love them, it's time to play devil's advocate. Dandere are typically held in high regard, but there are people who are turned off by this trope, and I can understand why. It's because when you build a Dandere, you have to be careful about how you proceed with them. Some people are content with a cutesy character that stays that way the entire show, but for others, a character will fall flat and slowly become less appealing when compared to the others in the cast if they don't change. For example, when I rank the queens, Miku falls down to the number 3 spot, and honestly, sometimes even number 4. It's not because I dislike Miku, though I often joke that I do. It's because her character just simply became less appealing with time. Every other quint had a character arc, but as for Miku, hers borderline felt like changing up her entire Dandere personality. And truth be told, that ain't go down well for me. I do believe it's difficult to quote-unquote hate a Dandere, but I don't think it's difficult for them to become less appealing. Almost like their personality is no more than a gag, and development never comes. So for any up-and-coming mangaka or fiction writers, be careful about how you handle your Dandere characters. If you intend to make one, make them lovable, but don't make them boring. Overall, regardless of if a Dandere is your favorite character or not, most of them are 10 out of 10 characters. For the Yandere to be so highly appreciated, the anime community has to be very weird. The word yandere comes from the Japanese word yanderu, which means to be sick, and Derederes, which... Are you guys really gonna make me do this for a third time? Go watch the first 2 videos from this series. And as I've said in those previous videos, people wholeheartedly love Tsunderes. People genuinely adore Danderes. And people like seeing a yandere get screen time, but the characters themselves aren't supposed to be loved or adored. Except maybe like Toga. There are people who truly see Toga as wifey material, and What? Me? No way! I'm most certainly, totally, definitely, for sure am not one of those people. Don't judge me. Yandere have 2 forms. 1, the psychotic form that will literally kill for those they care about, and 2, those who won't kill but will give up the moral high ground in certain scenarios. Not all yandere are murderers, though a lot of them are portrayed that way. Kind of the standard, oddly enough. So what makes the yandere so enjoyable and popular despite having more than a few screws loose? I think there are 2 major reasons why. Number 1, the appeal of being obsessed over, and number 2, the contrast in the yandere's personality. Firstly, a lot of people who love yandere characters love the foundation of what the character is made of. The feeling of, wouldn't it be nice to be loved that much? Is more than enough to please people. Being in a spot where someone loves you so much that they do literally anything to be with you. If this is why you like a yandere, then maybe you are the lovesick one. In a very twisted way, it's almost kinda wholesome if you look past the psychotic side of it all. But a yandere, despite their craziness, is true in their feelings. And due to their psychotic nature, that love is typically not mutual. And what's more sad than someone in love who won't get their love reciprocated? Well, a lot is more sad than that, but you can't deny that it's somewhat easy to sympathize with, at least until they start going ballistic. And that leads us into the second phase of why yandere are so loved. A yandere typically comes off as physically appealing to the eye, whether that's cute, hot, or anything in between. Their mannerisms can be considered precious at times, or they can even be considered sweet. But once things go off the rails, their entire personality can swap at the drop of a dime. And frankly, it's entertaining as mess to watch. I'd be a liar if I said I didn't like yandere characters. Not because they're romantically physically attractive, but because their psyche is extremely unstable, and thus they make for some of the most unpredictable and intense moments in any given show. And it's always important to remember that a yandere has two sides, cute and sweet or epic destroyer of worlds. When you ignore the good side and only look at the bad, it's easy to forget a yandere is one cup yan and another cup dere. When it comes to those they care about, they can become very loving, and that's a fact neglected by watchers simply because a yandere is crazy. And I don't blame viewers either, because as people it's easier to remember bad things that happen than it is to remember good things that happen. And the portrayal of a yandere is often more bad than good. We love yandere because they're cute, crazy, and oddly enough, easy to sympathize with. But the fact is, if you love a yandere, you just love crazy chicks. There are a ton of Derederes characters in anime. The word comes from Derederes, which refers to feeling love-struck or lovey-dovey, and Derederes, which means... Am I trapped in the Matrix? A Dere type that's not abbreviated. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the Dere. Not to be confused with a Genki girl. You see, pretty much every Genki girl is a Dere, but not all Dere are Genki girls. To try and simplify, let's put it this way. A Dere equals very friendly, a Genki girl equals energetic. For example, a friendly athlete would be a Genki and a Dere, whereas a friendly shut-in would be solely a Dere. Look, this is just as confusing to me as it is to you. I'm trying here, alright? By the way, sub up. We're on the road to 10k subs. I've been seeing y'all with the support though, and I appreciate y'all. But the fact remains that people love Derederes, and it's not very hard to figure out why. When you're dealing with a Dandere, you're working to break their shy shell open and reveal their friendlier side. When dealing with a tsundere, you're working to break their tough shell open and reveal their friendlier side. And when dealing with a yandere, you're putting up with the bad in order to get the good. The overarching theme with these other Dere types, which I've already made videos on, is that people love them for what good they can get out of them. But with the Dere, there isn't much work that needs to be done. They're all just pretty happy, friendly, and lovable right from the start. Yotsuba was the first quint to warm up to the MC, and the first quint that the viewers warmed up to as well. Tanjiro is one of the kindest and most pure-hearted anime characters out there, and his sister Nezuko is aww. Yeah, we didn't use the sound effect that time. And Marion is the picturesque friend with the world popular schoolgirl. Nobody has problems with Derederes, and if you do, then you're really just looking for a fight, so put your dukes up. We love Chika, we love Najimi, we love Chio, we love Rinko, we love Yui, we love Orihime, we love Alphonse, we love Uraraka. We love Ichinose, at least the anime version. We love Naruto, except that no, we actually do not. And we would love if I would please relax. Look, this is a Dere type that I don't think needs much explaining as to figure out why people love them. Other Deres are a combination of words involving Dere, which is the loving side of the pair. So when you have a Dere type that is literally the embodiment of the loving side of something, of course people will like them. I would love for somebody to give me a really good reason why they have an issue with Dere. Seriously. They don't need to be your favorite character, but I realistically can't think of any reason why somebody would actively dislike them. Unless you're really just a sad person in real life, I guess, or something. Okay. Would you not love a character that personifies the saying, kill them with kindness? They're too loving, they're too sweet, and they're too wholesome. We don't need to go any deeper than that. Comment more video ideas. Bye.